welcome back to another session. Very interesting topic today, shaking up the payment landscape in 2023. This session will deliver valuable insights on the dynamic trends that will revolutionize the movement of the money across APEC region and beyond. Please warmly welcome our moderator, Monica D'Souza, a seasoned business strategist and product leader in the financial service industry, who will introduce the panel. Monica, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's going to be a really exciting topic, and I have an esteemed set of speakers with me. I'm Monica D'Souza. I'm a product leader and fintech strategist, and excited to talk about what's shaking up the payments landscape in APAC in 2023. But without further ado, let me first introduce the panelists that we have today, and then we'll actually go on to discuss a little bit about the topic before we do a deep dive. So starting with Mina.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having us. My name is Mina Louka. I represent a group of companies called B2Broker. We created almost 9 years ago an ecosystem of brokerage, crypto, payments, payment processing, turnkey solutions, liquidity, electronic money institutions. So we created a whole ecosystem for any investor who would like to have a white label solution to get started as a business. Okay, I've been working for the company for 3 years, coming from the core banking industry for 20 plus years.
Welcome, Mina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Vassal Pratt. I am the co-founder of Capitalize. We are a fintech consultancy specialized in helping high-risk merchants to obtain payments and banking solutions. And not only that, I'm also a Forbes 30 Under 30 honoree, podcast host of Success Secrets, and recent winner of Rising Star of the Year at the UK FinTech Awards.
Welcome to Sal.
Hi everyone, I'm Judith, coming from WorldPay from FIS. I think everybody is quite familiar with WorldPay. We have 30 years of experience in being the #1 global acquirer in global aid. So for us coming into here is really to share about our insights into the landscape of payments. And also if you do not have a copy of our FIS Global Payments Report, please feel free to download it. And I'll be happy to share more insights with you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ron Cohen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of BridgerPay. We are a payment operation platform, basically helping businesses around the world to connect and manage and automate basically the entire payment flow. Happy to share from our very big experience in payments and whatever we see in Bridger. Thank you.
Welcome. So between all of us, we have so many ways represented here, at least 4 that I can count. And I've worked in PayPal, MasterCard, and another couple of pays. So we have a lot of payment players and of course, payment experience behind us. So this is going to be a really exciting panel. So what are we really talking about today? So the Asia Pacific region in 2023 will be marked by unprecedented trade growth. This flurry of activities is set to drive new levels of cross-border payments in tandem with more cross-border collaborations, innovative solutions, and multiple payment rails. To get a sense of how APEC's payment paradigm is shifting, this session will explore trends that will impact the money movement in 2023 and beyond. So I'm sure you're all excited, and by judging by the number of booths that we have out there, talking about cross-border and trade solutions, this is going to be a very, very exciting time to learn from the experts. So why don't we dive right in? So let me start off, since I have Judith on stage, who's actually spoken about the FIS Global Report, which has been put out associated with payments. So Judith, why don't I start off with you first? How do you foresee the evolving payment landscape in the APAC region in 2023 and beyond? Are there any specific trends or developments that you believe that will have a significant impact?
Thanks, Monica. So just to give a bit of background, according to a McKinsey report, within a decade, 1 out of 2 transactions will take place in Asia. So as you can see, discretionary spending is increasing. As customers face increase in salary, they're expecting more sophisticated payment infrastructure. And with that, we need to move accordingly. You will see AI, reliance on AI, reliance on machine learning. And the key trends, I would say, in coming up is really in 3 points. Firstly, instant payments or real-time payments will definitely be increasing exponentially. And why do I say that? Because the entry to instant payments, it's really easy. Instant payments, in fact, do not go through the card networks. They are not, subjected to the interchange fee. So the cost of entry for a merchant to activate instant payments is very, very low. And hence, this expectations of, worldwide adoption is actually increasing. And you can see the likes of Malaysia, Do It Now, Singapore, Pay Now, India, UPI, or even Thailand, PromptPay. We are all really, really expanding out there in the market. And the payment infrastructure, in fact, are adopting all these payments, instant payments. And money movement, both domestically and cross-borderly, will eventually expect to use instant payments. Second point on that, for the trends will be on digital wallets. You can see digital wallets, in fact, increasing their market share over the last 5 years. In fact, it has more than doubled in the last 5 years. APEC, excluding China, because China, is very, very good in digital wallets. Excluding China, we are seeing it having the largest market share in e-commerce transactions. It accomplishes about 69% of the market share in APEC for digital wallets. So if you do not have a digital wallet, or if you are not in a digital wallet, probably it will be good to look into it and to future-proof your business by getting into it. Third point would be, of course, the dominance of super app. I think in Asia and in APEC, we are seeing a lot of super apps being, on the rise. And what is so powerful about the super apps is because within the super apps, it's a lifestyle app, right? You get to book a Grab car, you get to experience grocery shopping, and thirdly, you can even buy a financial product within a super app. So all these, in fact, creates a very good customer experience. And in fact, in the later part of the future, you may even face whereby your salary gets deposited into the super app, and you can set some form of rules to actively invest a portion of your salary according to your portfolio that you set up. So all these trends are coming, and I think it's unavoidable. So.
Excellent time to actually go to Ran. So Ran, you are actually creating this bridge between these various number of payment solutions that exist and this fragmentation in the market with so many digital wallets. Now, assuming that from one of the statistics, 1 in 20 people in Asia actually use a digital wallet on a super app to make payments. So given the kind of fragmentation that we are seeing out there, how are you seeing this payment landscape emerge? And taking off from what Judith just said, how do you see this emerging?
Well, APEC is a big Asia. It divided to many different countries, and each one of them have very local solutions that people love to use and very much used to use. What we see is checkouts that are becoming much more complex and diversified with what they are offering. It's no longer credit card. In APEC, digital wallet, online banking is by far the biggest way of transferring money. And I think that in time now, we would start see Google Pay, Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, and very complex checkout for each one of those countries. Brokers today or businesses today don't have the issue of getting those contracts or processing accounts. You have WorldPay here that provides so many. And it's so easy to start adding them into your checkout, and the flow goes. Clients really love them, so it's very much useful. And we see higher conversions on those methods specific.
I'm glad to hear that, because consumers complain about the number of methods that are out there and how much balance they maintain in each one of these. And merchants complain about drops in conversion. So we actually have solutions that can help both. So Sarah, just going to you now, you're actually seeing this from a very different lens, being a co-founder yourself. How are you seeing the APEC payments landscape, and taking off from what Judith and Ran said, how do you see this emerging?
So exactly what Ran and Judith said about the rise of mobile payments and digital wallets. We've seen a sharp increase, particularly after COVID, where everyone had to go contactless. And not only that, there's a huge the society here are a lot more susceptible for technology innovation, and they have a lot more internet access. But one of the key areas that I wanted to touch on is the financial inclusion side that fintech actually brings to the society. I read a statistic the other day that around 70% of Asia's population is either unbanked or underbanked. Now, when I read that was a shocking statistic for me. But now that we have the rise of digital wallets and mobile payments, a lot of these underprivileged societies and regions are now gaining access to these crucial digital payments. So how would this benefit you guys? Like, why am I talking about this? Well, if you think about it, the more people that have access to mobile payments and digital wallets, the more they're going to do things online. When they have access to their digital wallets, okay, for example, when you go down on a street vendor, you'll see now that a lot of vendors now offer the option to pay by QR code, usually by prompt pay or another alternative payment method. So what that would do is that would instantly go to that digital wallet. Or alternatively, if they're getting paid in cash, they can then go to, for example, a 7-Eleven or wherever else they'll accept the cash and top up their digital wallet from there. And what this means is they're going to be doing more things digitally. They're going to be buying more stuff through e-commerce, or maybe they're looking at alternative things that they can do, such as gaming or trading, investing, crypto. So yeah, the more people that have access to this crucial financial services, such as digital wallets and banking solutions, the more it's going to help boost the economy and then boost everyone else's business.
Thank you so much. And it's a very important point, because I think digital wallets open up users to being able to get included within this entire revolution that we are seeing here. And an interesting statistic is that Asia actually adopts technology 8 to 10 years ahead of Western markets. Now, given the demographic dividend that most of us we are seeing in Asia, the vibrancy of what we are finding in this place as well, if you have a young population who is mobile first and they do not have maybe money, but they have the means to be able to access what money they have for these amazing discounts and of course the investment that a lot of these players are bringing in, it's obviously going to be a booming market. Mina, trying to bring you in, Asia is also the one region where we've seen the crypto and the coins boom. And then we've also seen this very sustained effort to maintain that kind of investment in alternate products. Now, given what B2BinPay is doing, how are you seeing this landscape evolve with so many, I would say, alternate rails, which are right now under the regulator's scanner? There's obviously a lot of volatility in the market, yet Asia continues to be a slightly, I would say, a bright spot on the world map. So how do you see this? And again, taking off from what the others on the panel have said, obviously real-time payments and digital wallets are going to continue to explode here. And with the super apps emerging, it seems to be a really great place for users to dominate with plethora of choices and merchants to start to have accepting those choices, which Ryan is alluded to earlier. So would love to get your take on this.
As my colleague said, they touched on the multiple payment options. Also COVID, pre-COVID and post-COVID, the world has completely changed. Online purchases are more and more, so this is encouraging merchants to do more business. So from the other side, as businesses to give opportunities or payment solutions, we have to look at pricing, encouraging acquiring. There is less ATM usage, less cash, and this is when crypto come into play. So we are in B2B UK, we provide payment solution for merchants as a white label, so they can accept payments, whatever coin that the user has. So you buy any commodity online, encouraging people to go online. Any coin is settled in a different coin as the merchant calls. If you want to have it as crypto settle. If you want to settle it in CAD, in fiat, transfer it to your own account. So we provide the whole cycle to provide the merchant, or to allow the merchant to do more business, which of course will help the market, help the economy to do better. This is how the crypto is coming. On the back end of this, because we are integrated with a whole of blockchain, so this facilitates the solution. You make the solution available for the merchant without the need of the hassle, with 24/7 market support and tech support.
Thank you. So, as you've seen and heard here, we have a plethora of solutions both on the consumer and on the merchant side. And what's most interesting is that digitization is actually helping take these solutions to the end consumers and merchants. And in Asia, again, as across the world, actually in Asia. Now, taking off from what everyone said, we're talking about smaller merchants, and we know that real-time payments is going to make a real difference. But talking about some of the larger merchants who've already existed in the e-commerce space, we have an example of embedded finance being both an imperative as well as a need that's taking off in Asia. Now, embedded finance overall in the world was, very big flavor couple of years back, and then we heard of the Starbucks of the world and the IKEAs of the world who actually have embedded payments within their apps to the point that users don't even know that they're making a payment. And we all know that nobody loves making payments. We don't wake up in the morning smelling our coffee and wanting to figure out what is the next payment method. But coming to you, Ran, given what you're seeing and your ability to be able to offer an embedded finance kind of solution to any merchant out there, what do you see as the trend that will emerge in Asia specifically with the rise of two kinds of trends? One that Judith and the rest of the panelists spoke about, which is of course the super apps. 1 in 20 people is actually using a super app to either book a cab, to actually order food. Now the question is, if this continues to rise, are we going to see the Starbucks of the world emerge from Asia, where they will have so many payment experiences that it almost feels secondary to them to offer payments, but still be a large enough payments player thanks to players such as yourself, FIS, B2BinPay, and of course great solutions that are emerging. We'll have your take on this.
Well, I think we should focus here about the technology part. With the rise of all these different payment methods, with the fact checkouts become much more complicated and many integration for every merchant to start doing, that's where the orchestration layer came in, taking basically the entire integration for each one of those providers, all the merchants that are in who has either a wallet layer of payments where they can manage it and do all you need to provide multiple high-end yards for a merchant to be able to consume and push it within his product. So people will do second buy within a click, like you're saying, without even noticing. Tokenization of cards, which has to be done on the first transaction. And many e-commerce merchants that are utilizing today more and more recurring APIs. Every one of the big merchants we work with in e-commerce, for example, with Zalora, it's to create a checkout from A to Z. Pixel perfect to the merchant. They know exactly what they want. They know exactly how they want it to look and feel. And the look and feel also is a very big part of it, because it has to complete these APIs that you're providing that allows for tokenization, for pre-auth, for capturing transaction later on, and all those capabilities that you have to provide today to merchants to utilize those supers.
I'm very interested in also hearing about with the mentioned consumer experience. So that's key to actually whatever Asia has to offer, because you wouldn't accept subpar experiences in Asia given the kind of young, vibrant consumers that we have. So I know that you are offering a solution which actually helps take away, for example, 3DS related issues that we have. But when you start seeing this emerge more and more, do you see that a lot of the players will actually depend on you as a technology provider, taking the consumer experience as something that they own, bringing in the consumers to the funnel, but actually depending on providers such as yourself?
I think that definitely, because in the end of the day, that's what we do. We take care of the experience, and payment providers like WorldPay do the rest of the heavy lifting. And it is a heavy lifting with what they do with the acquiring services. So this is, I think, allows us to very much focus on the user experience, on the business management operations and capabilities that we are allowing them. Agnostic 3D, it solves many of the 3D issues that we see with technical declines, and today 3D is, I think, one of the biggest reasons for declines when you invoke credit card. And that's for us the way to solve our place, our part of the chain, where payment providers like B2B and WorldPay do the actual processing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think just exactly like Ranwa to what we're saying, doing the heavy lifting for the merchant or for the e-commerce It's easier. It's easier for them. You do all the integration, API based. You do all the technology solution for them with a decent pricing, profitable for the business and for the merchant. I think it's a win-win situation. So they don't have to go to all providers. They don't have to go to, for example, WorldPay. We ran system, all this part for them. We have done the same, and I'm sure they've done the same. So we provide all the technology. We give the integration, all the long hours of work, and then you provide it, you provide the support, you provide the tech support, and then that's how a long-term relationship with a merchant.
So this is interesting. I want to take this question to do that down to that we have technology providers which are taking the headache away from merchants, but at the same time, the heavy lifting is actually supposed to be done by payment providers such as yourself, who actually provide the value of not only knowing local payment rails, but also being ahead of the curve. Now in Asia, with QR emerging as one of the primary modes of payment, and I don't see contactless payments here being anything apart from QR for some time to come, unlike, for example, Australia, where everything is contactless. There isn't a method, like I had a real problem actually swiping my card because there was nothing, and I had to switch on contactless payments, which I'm a little bit skeptical about, especially on international rails. But question is, given what is happening in Asia also because of the government stepping in, every single, I would say a couple of months, we hear about linkages that are happening on QR itself, where the governments are stepping up these efforts because there is cross-border trade to be had, specifically in the Asian region. How do you see both of these aspects emerging? One is contactless payments, specifically on QR rails. Second is merchants who are adopting more and more digitization, specifically in e-commerce. And while the heavy lifting is going to be done by payment providers such as yourself, providers such as them who are going to take the headache away from merchants, it's going to be a very interesting landscape because the payment players in the ecosystem gets further fragmented with other players coming in. At the same time, it should look very unified for consumers and merchants. So how do you see this?
Actually, this question is a very interesting question, which probably will take me at least half an hour to answer. But I'm going to give you a concise, short answer for it. So I think Ran and Mina has explained quite a bit of how embedded finance is moving towards. And I totally agree. I would also further substantiate a bit why is embedded finance so hot in topic right now. It's because if you think about it, this integrated customer experience has to be personalized, has to be seamless, frictionless. And if you can imagine, you know, a lot of customers loves it. If they can use it in their daily lives, you know, and if they can translate it to even buying a financial product off exactly from their mobile phone, how easy is that? So the business itself, the use case, works very well. And a lot of businesses are gaining a lot of revenues. In US alone, it's a 20 billion revenue, you know, from the US in 2021. It has more than doubled in size in APEC. So if you think about it, it's really important to get yourself as a business within a super app because number one, it builds the trust, you know, component. It's a trusted app. You use it daily, you know, there is no issues on it. And at the same time, you can offer value-added services such as insurance, such as, you know, cash deposits, such as even trading or even portfolio management. Everything can be done on that. And this is the trend that what we are seeing. We are helping all the businesses to get into that platform. And this will be moving forward what the future will present. I would say in that QR codes, of course, definitely it is up and coming. And we have to understand what's the background of QR code. In fact, contactless payment came out first, right? It came out in 1995, you know, actually developed by Korea in Seoul for a bus card, you know, just to tap. However, it didn't take up then. Moving forward, I think all the regional banks started using it and then it became popular, you know, in your BTS or even MRT in Singapore, and you can tap and go inside. But COVID pandemic actually changed everything from contactless to contact-free. So it's very different, right? You still have to tap your card onto the point of sale for contactless. But being contact-free, meaning you don't have interactions at all. You just use your phone, scan the QR code, and you can order or you can instantly pay. So that minimizes the interactions between a person or even having a manpower there to facilitate anything. And this is what the pandemic has created and exploded for us. Do we want to future-proof our business? Of course we do want to future-proof our business. If we ever get back into the pandemic again, this is something that we have to move forward in QR for payments, right? So in terms of speak, the explosion came up from that. And, you know, I would say that this helps a lot of businesses, in fact, advertise their business using QR codes, making payments using QR codes, and even, you know, have you self-service using QR codes. So you actually reduces the cost of, you know, the waitress going to you and having you order, you know, you reduce the manpower there. I think in a certain aspect of things, you do have QR codes being very prevalent right now in a lot of markets because of this opportunity and the lowering down of costs. But if I am a consumer, I still want to, you know, enjoy a really good dining experience, then QR code payments probably isn't for me. But we cannot deny the fact that it is going to be moving forward and increasing in the future. And everybody should be prepared for it moving on.
Mina, I want to bring you in because I know we've been speaking about real-time payments, and I know you have expressed some, I would say, considerations on what would be areas of challenges as well as, I guess, emerging regulatory frameworks that need to step in or come in because of how there are challenges associated with both the macroeconomic climate, the geo-climate. There are multiple payment linkage rails which are being driven by governments. And then, of course, there's the whole ASEAN region where we've talked a lot about cross-border trade and finance and other panels. But the question is, with emergence of these factors which are driving payment players such as yourself and others in the market to, in a way, accept these payment methods, but at the same time, it's going to come under the regulatory scanner. So would love to cover also the regulatory, the ethical concerns and the frameworks that need to develop that you see emerging.
Well, thank you for this. Well, there is lots of factors impacting that or representing challenging for the payment industry. So you start by the geopolitical environment where you have shifting into, for example, the petrol, moving from a petrol dollar to a petrol yuan, and that would create different type of businesses that would impact the FX market. Also, when it comes to crypto, you have different maturity level regulators across different countries. So you have high level of maturity in one country where other countries, they're just starting. So, and when it comes to payment, and when you start facilitating the cross-borders and P2P payments, the level of maturity or the level of information exchange between regulators impacting also the speed of payments and settlement. So these are main challenges that anyone in the business, especially as a provider, would face. Also, when it comes to the hot topic of CBDC, if you think about it, governments and regulators, they're trying to concentrate on how to make it as more similar to central bank, which dilutes the fact of that crypto is an easier way of payments, is instant, is quicker, is more of a P2P, the settlement is quicker than using, for example, SWIFT. But when you think about it, you have to consider the ethical part, as you rightly said. When it comes to the ethical part, if I'm holding a certain amount of crypto in my wallet, how this is controlled by the regulator, would it when, for example, the inflation comes, I might be obliged to spend certain amount in a certain period of time, otherwise I will lose the value of my money. So that it's not just the regulations, it's the consumer protection, similar to the banks when it comes to safeguarding client money on the cash level, or safeguarding for electronic money institutions, or even for when you think about it in crypto. I need, as a consumer or someone who's holding my assets, to make sure I'm not losing. Apart from the volatile market, I need to know that I'm not going to be controlled also by the government, losing the value of what I'm holding. So it's not just the regulations that the government or the regulator will govern the market, it's also me as a consumer how am I protected?
Absolutely. And I think this is where it becomes even more complex when you think about that there are multiple governments at play. While we want to make payments fast, secure, easy, there is no need to introduce friction. But there is also a problem when cross-border starts happening. There are AML and compliance concerns. And if you don't address them, they actually do affect the security of countries. So it's not something you can take lightly. Now to actually conclude with very quick thoughts on what is going to emerge in 2023 and beyond. And I would love to leave, the stage today by leaving a few key trends that you think will emerge in the future of Asia as far as payments is concerned. So again, maybe going down the panel, starting off with Mina, a couple of quick takes on what do you think will be some of the technology or any other levers that you think will play a driving force in pushing payments even forward here.
Well, I think, everything as a solution is something that would be used, like fintech as a solution, service as a solution, all these as a solution as now the loss of acronyms, players like RAS, like what we do, every company. So you develop, you prepare, you do the heavy lifting, and then you sell it in a way, or you provide it to the merchants or investors that they want to do business in a more easy way. This is when the economy evolves, because you provide a solution cheaper in price because you do an economy of scale, and then you provide all the tech efforts. You sell it in a way where they benefit and the market benefits. This is how I see it, and I think this is the way forward. Crypto is here to stay. Crypto is here. It's not just as a digital asset, but also the solutions behind it, from blockchains, the use of DeFi when it comes to insurance, mortgages, etc. This is not something that it is not just a payment method, it's more of all the financial sector solutions.
Excellent. This is a great point to actually end the panel with, but I'll go to this end. So everything as a service, what do you think is going to emerge as one of the key drivers for pushing payments forward in Asia?
So I'll just touch on one of the key areas. There's loads of key areas happening in fintech right now, but there's one that's particularly very interesting, especially in cross-border payments. The rise of AI. Now, we all know about ChatGPT, right? We've all used it, and if you haven't, make sure you get on it because it's amazing. But how is AI going to impact cross-border payments? And particularly, how it's going to impact cross-border payments is on the AML and compliance monitoring process. Now, if you guys are making payments, we all know how long onboarding can take with PSPs or banks, right? It could take months. But with the rise of AI, it's very interesting because of the vast amounts of data that AI could consume. It will be able to spot anomalies within transactions. It will be able to spot suspicious activity, and far quicker than a human can. I would always touch on the vast amounts of data because humans can only consume so much data, right? We're limited at a capacity, whereby AI has unlimited capacity. And that's the beauty of it. And one last area of AI is on the enhanced customer experience, particularly in B2C, because of what it will do is if you're dealing with customers, if you're an FX broker dealing with customers, it can create an enhanced, tailored experience for your customers and really create them a nice journey for them by understanding what their requirements are, what they like, what they don't like. It will really be able to tailor a service best suited to their needs, and they'll be a lot happier and more likely to stay on and working with your business as well.
Thank you so much. We have to note down the number of times AI has been mentioned, not only on this panel, but also on the outside booths. And it's so interesting. It really is the theme of the year. So Judith, coming to you, what do you see happen?
Actually, the rest of the panelists has already said it all, right? I also think that really is the payments will definitely boom. This will give a very huge adoption to peer-to-peer adoption of payments, or even account-to-account payment methods. So the key thing I would like to maybe share for businesses to gain a competitive edge is really to partner with a global partner that understands the regulations very well, understand what you can do in certain markets, which credit card payments or even which payment methods you can use in each country, right, in order to extend your business further. And also, it's important to note that in certain countries you cannot use certain payment methods, and there's a restricted payment method to be used. And such things are important because then the regulators will start to look into your business heavily. And if you want to show consistency and be a consistent player, that's what you have to do to future-proof your business.
Absolutely. Future-proofing your business. Last words from you.
Thanks. So we've been speaking about the different type of payment methods there are, and there are so many in many countries here. In the end of the day, orchestration and platforms like Bridger has to go the extra mile and think about the businesses and how we help businesses to process more and allow much more flexibility to the user. And we've been speaking here about the fact each one of us have multiple apps, balances in different wallets. We have balances in our credit cards, we have balances in our bank account. Until now, when we buy something, we have to choose only one. We have to choose either a credit card, either a bank wire, either a crypto. And I think this has to change. We've built a product called Pay With. It's a new type of checkout. It basically allows a user to complete any purchase he wants with any mix of payment methods the merchant is connected with. So if I want to put a part of my balance in my credit card and another part for my wallet and another part for my PayPal, that's all possible to Pay With, and I think this flexibility is a must if we look forward. And we've been seeing this trend of multiple payment methods for quite some time. So we've built this tool to help businesses increase card size, increase conversion, and this type of innovative tool is the future of payments.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because one word that was not mentioned any time on this panel was cash. And Asia continues to be one of the biggest cash markets across the world. And the reason why this was not mentioned, and I'm so glad that all our panelists did not actually mention this dreaded word, is because I truly believe that in Asia, just like what Ran has said, Judith has said, Wissel and Nina have said, there is going to be an explosion of a lot of technology-backed innovation that is actually going to help consumers and businesses. But cash may exist, and that is why we need to make sure that for all the businesses, for all these new end merchants and consumers who are adopting payment solutions, we make it so simple for them that the change from cash to cashless or a digitized world happens in a way that is only very Asia specific. Asia is one of the largest markets also for fragmentation of local solutions. Every country here is a payment economy and an ecosystem by itself. And what rules apply here, not only in terms of compliance, regulation, do not apply elsewhere. So I'm really excited by what the future holds for us in Asia. And if you want to speak and have more questions, of course, please speak to these payment experts outside. Really thank everyone for attending the panel for this amazing discussion. And I'm sure that we have a lot more to look forward to in 2023 and beyond. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to the esteemed panelists.
Thank you, everyone, for attending.